You. And now we want to start with our other top story tonight. A transgender woman found not guilty. Now this after she was charged with public indecency because she used the women's locker room at the Xenia YMCA. Now a judge just ruled Darren Glines didn't break any laws. And
what's going on, everybody? Wired here. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. And if you need any proof that we are living in the absolute worst timeline, I came across this article, which I find absolutely fascinating. It's about a trans woman who entered a male locker room in a YMCA in Ohio and pretty much exposed themselves to underage girls. Now, I think normal, sensible people would say, well, that's absolutely horrible. And I guess charges were brought against this person, but apparently the charges they didn't stick because the trans woman has been cleared of this, of flashing her genitals at 3 women using Ohio YMCA after judge ruled she's too fat for genitals to be visible. Yeah, you can't really make this stuff up. But I got a news clip here. I'm going to play that, and then we're going to get into the article. So take a look.
Thank you. And now we want to start with our other top story tonight. A transgender woman found not guilty. Now this after she was charged with public indecency because she used the women's locker room at the Xenia YMCA. Now a judge just ruled Darren Glines didn't break any laws. And Mamie, I know you've kind of been following this story for us. You spoke with her legal team today. And what did you learn?
I did. Well, the legal team tells me that the legal team who is speaking on behalf of their client at this time tell me that they believe their client still has a target on her back despite the judge's ruling. However, they believe the right decision was made.
She's relieved. This was really weighing on her.
The attorneys representing the transgender woman charged with indecent exposure, speaking for the first time.
It was our position that the prosecution kind of tried to twist the law to fit this case into a certain mold that it just didn't fit in.
Friday, Darren Glines was found not guilty by a Xenia Municipal Court judge. This after using the locker room that aligns with her gender identity at the Xenia YMCA. The Greater Dayton LGBTQ Center saying this is a victory.
I hope that people will think twice before bringing these kind of charges, because a lot of times it's about the intent, and I don't think Rachel intended to do anything wrong.
The judge in this case ruled that there was no exposure because Glines did not show her private area in the locker room. Documents show that the executive director of the Fairborn YMCA testified, saying Glines was authorized to use the women's locker room at all YMCA facilities. I spoke with law professor Tom Hagel about the outcome in this case.
The result was correct. These are the types of issues that are going to come up constantly until the issue is resolved concerning the rights of people who are in transition.
Glines was facing 3 counts of indecent exposure for incidents that took place from September to November, one involving Janelle Holloway, who says she didn't feel comfortable with Glines using the women's locker room.
His name is Darren Glines. Yeah, I've known Darren for a lot of years. He was on my tennis team. I'll be honest, I've known him well. And I've written him a letter.
In this letter, she writes in part, "I've prayed more for you these past 6 months than I ever did the previous 22 years of knowing you. Going through these last 6 months is not something that I would have ever chosen to do. But God has been faithful to me in so many areas of life. The Holloways who were subpoenaed tell me they are disappointed by the judge's ruling."
And disgusted in some ways.
What do you say to people who believe you're being transphobic?
I strongly have to believe what the Bible teaches, that God, from the very beginning, created 2 genders.
For now, Glines' legal team says they are looking ahead and focusing on their client.
Are there any plans to file a lawsuit against the city?
We're not going to make any definitive comments on that. I know that we're going to look at all of her legal options moving forward and make the best decision for her.
I reached out to the YMCA of Greater Dayton. It says it is following Ohio and federal laws and anti-discrimination laws, which allow all members to access its facilities and programs. I also reached out to the city of Xenia. It says it has no comment at this time.
Yeah, absolutely amazing how this stuff works. You know, like I said, we're truly living in the worst timeline. You know, when I first came across this article, the only thing I could think of was this.
I've not seen my Willie in 2 years, which is long enough to declare legally dead.
I couldn't have said that better myself. But yeah, let's get into the article here, because this is, just truly, clown world we're living in. A judge ruled that a transgender woman could not have indecently exposed genitalia in a YMCA female change room after agreeing with her claim that she's too fat for it to be visible. How could this possibly be a defense? Just first off, that's absolutely insane, mind-boggling. The fact that a judge would even entertain this argument really just kind of speaks to our courts just being run by clowns. That's just the truth. Sorry. Darren Glines, who now goes by Rachel, was found not guilty of 3 counts of indecent exposure at the facility in Xenia, Ohio. Judge David McNamee, that's a name, cleared Glines after agreeing that the size of her belly meant it would be impossible for anyone to see her male genitalia. Glines, 31, has had several complaints made against her dating back to 2021, with at least 3 people complaining that they saw a naked male in the female locker room. Oh, I wonder why that, wonder why that would upset some people. It's really crazy to me. It's like the suffragettes of the 1920s have got to be spinning in their graves. Them going out there advocating and fighting for women's rights, equal pay, all that stuff, the right to vote, all that stuff. Their own sports teams, for it to then 100 years later just be reclaimed by men, and society is so woke they won't do anything about it. Really, really is crazy stuff. One of the complaints stated that there were 3 juveniles present during the incident, with a woman going to the front desk to report the issue, all right? But she was reassured by a worker that it was actually a woman and that she shouldn't have been disturbed by the incident. Okay, because, well, we can't even define that. We don't even know what a woman is, but yeah, sure. Okay. Judge David McNamee said that there was little to dispute as to the facts of the case, as Glines was authorized by the executive director of the YMCA to use the women's locker room. Jacqueline Brockman said that Glines was allowed to use the facilities at all of the greater Dayton area YMCA locations. So maybe this judge isn't woke. Maybe there's just nothing they can do because the higher court has made a ruling on this and said, hey, in Ohio, this is perfectly fine for trans people to do. And if, 99% of the people in a women's locker room, which are probably, 99% at least biological females, are uncomfortable, hey, they just got to deal with it. Get flashed by male genitalia. That's how it is. Crazy. The case was legally brought against Darren Glines, but she now goes by the first name of Rachel and is not a gender reassignment surgery. McNamee said there is no question that Glines was in the women's locker room. However, Glines was not charged with trespass, nor was Glines charged with being in an area of the YMCA where Glines was not supposed to be. Yeah, so the YMCA is okay with this. Apparently, Ohio courts are okay with this. So, it doesn't matter if the women are not okay with this. Hey, I guess they just got to deal with it, right? I mean, quite simply, the facts do not exist to support a finding of guilt as charges. Glines' genitalia was not visible as of other portions of her body covering the same. Not sure how that's a defense. That clown world here. Glines' lawyer, Lauren and Kira Dever, both argued that she was too fat that her gut would obscure her genitalia. In a statement released on Monday, Glines' attorney said it's unfortunate not only for her, but for the entire community that the filing of these charges ever occurred. We are grateful that the rule of law and the truth prevailed so that Miss Glines and the community can move on in peace. It's just absolutely crazy here. It's like, you can identify as anything, and you can, you don't have to have gender reassignment surgery. You can switch your pronouns every single day. You can go by he, him one day, she, they the next day. And it's like, I know I've seen this, really, people try to get teachers or students try to get teachers in trouble with school with this. Women, can't feel safe in their own locker rooms. Their bathrooms are invaded. Their sports teams are invaded. It's just crazy to me. It really is. We've gone so woke, and it's like there's no left that's too far left. We will keep pushing until it just goes off a cliff. And I'm thinking it's probably going too soon. But anyway, what do you guys think about this story? I mean, I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I think women should feel safe in their own locker rooms. And I think this is an immaculate defense. Really, I never would have thought of that. But I'm sure these 2 lady lawyers are going to get more money for it. I don't know if I can call them lady lawyers. Female gender assigned lawyers at birth. I don't know. I'm terrible at woke terminology. Anyway, that's all I got. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. It really helps out the algorithm, and thank you for listening this long. I will catch you all in the next one. Later.